Welcome back to He is Risen, right here on Real America's Voice.
Welcome back to He is Risen, a message of hope. Last weekend, a brand new movie hit theaters, and it was remarkable for many reasons. Angel Studios has been a major innovator and game changer in the world of film and TV, springing from resounding success with shows like The Chosen and the film The Sound of Freedom. Their mission is simple: create stories that amplify light. Their latest release is an animated film called The King of Kings, which is the first biblically themed animation since The Prince of Egypt. Let's have a look at the trailer.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for just a moment.
King Arthur!
Get down from there!
1, 2, 3!
You are not King Arthur!
Charles, you're going to tell him a great story about forgiveness.
Can we do this without the cat?
Stop right there.
Our story begins 2,000 years ago when baby Jesus came into the world.
Wait, stop. If it's not about a king, then I'm not interested.
This story is about the King of Kings.
If you're with me, then I know that I will fly.
It has angels and wicked kings and miracles.
Look at all the fish!
Oh, so you want to hear the story now? Why don't we help Jesus along the way?
There's not nearly enough food here to feed all of these people.
I hope this helps.
Look! There's something out there!
Don't be afraid.
This was a miracle to some, but a threat to others.
Why don't we just turn the people against him?
Open up my eyes and see, and I'm not only wishing, dreaming.
Thank you.
Can't we help it?
Yes, but not the way you think.
Daddy.
It's time. This is what my father wants. I'll accept it, and so should you.
You see, a true king serves his subjects.
If you have faith, you'll become stronger than before.
It is a great story.
The story follows Charles Dickens, the author of A Christmas Carol. Now, in real life, Dickens had written a manuscript about Jesus called The Life of Our Lord. He read it to his children every Christmas, so it was a very personal book. It was never intended to be published, so once Dickens' last child passed away, the manuscript was eventually published and permitted a group out of South Korea to bring it to life in an animation that will stay true to its storytelling for children. The King of Kings lit up the box office, raking in $19 million. I had the chance to speak to its director, Jay Jang, with the help of a translator about how he wanted to tell this remarkable Easter story with a different perspective. Let's take a look. Many of us know the story of Jesus Christ, but never told through the words of Charles Dickens, the author who is, of course, famous for A Christmas Carol. In the first biblically themed film since The Prince of Egypt comes a new animated film titled The King of Kings, which has a cast including Uma Thurman, Ben Kingsley, Kenneth Branagh, Forrest Whitaker, Pierce Brosnan, and Mark Hamill. It is distributed by Angel Studios, the same groundbreaking studio that is upending the Hollywood model by crowdfunding its projects. Joining me now is the film's director, Jay Jang, along with his editor, Whoosh, and their interpreter, June. Jay, thank you so much for speaking with me today, and the rest of you gentlemen as well.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, so Jay, first of all, my understanding is that Charles Dickens had a book called The Life of Our Lord that he wrote exclusively for his children and would read the story aloud to them every Christmas. Yet it wasn't until 64 years after his death that the book got published. How did you come to learn about this not widely known Dickens book?
I
I grew up reading many novels written by Charles Dickens. I had not come to know about the book The Life of Our Lord written by Charles Dickens until much later. Once I found out this was the inspiration of me starting this project of this film.
굉장히 재밌을 수 있겠다는 생각을 했습니다.
And because Charles Dickens tells the story of Jesus to his son, Walter, who I love that character, he gets to go back in time and see Jesus in his own time. When you became interested in directing this, did you have children in mind as your target audience, or perhaps even adults who need to look back at the story of Jesus through childlike eyes?
I did start this project with the focus of the audience as kids because as adults, as we grow up, we tend to learn more about the real world, and our thinking kind of changes our perspective about the story sometimes. And so I wanted to make sure that we stay true to the focus and not go in a different path, maybe interpret the story differently. And that's why I wanted the children to be the main focus of the audience.
Of course. Well, you know, it's interesting to me, gentlemen, because I currently play Jesus in a musical adaptation of the gospel to screen, in which a modern man gets to go back in time and see Jesus' life. You can see it right there on screen, much the way that Walter gets to see Jesus. Are these stories more appealing because they tell the gospel story from a different perspective?
좀 다른 시선으로
So the story of Jesus is known by everyone around the world, whether they are Christian or not. And so I wanted to make this film in a new, different perspective, in a different modem. And so I thought this might be a good way to tell everyone the story of Jesus Christ in a different way, in a different perspective.
Yeah, and you know what I loved about this movie, The King of Kings, is that little Walter, he wants to hear a story about a powerful king with a sword, and his dad explains to him that Jesus never had a sword, just his words, and that faith is mightier than any sword. And in a way, Jay, aren't we all that little boy? Aren't we all Walter, who maybe needs to hear this story again?
So in the film, Walter is mesmerized by the story of King Arthur and the sword, the Excalibur. And so I wanted to portray the sword as the film goes on, as you see that sword, it portrays the power that a king has. But as you see the film, I wanted the sword to become the cross and have a different meaning when it comes to a power that a king can have.
Wow, that's incredible. I didn't even think about that, but you're so right, because I just finished watching the screener of this movie. The sword, the power of the sword becoming the cross is an incredible visual. That's a brilliant bit of imagery, Jay. You worked with a very star-studded cast with all these big stars, and even with your language differences, you were able to get command performances from these actors. So if you can, describe the process of directing an animation with actors of this caliber.
I wanted this film to become worldwide, and so I knew that I needed to have a cast that everyone knew. And so it was through my friend Jamie Thomason that I was able to pick and have a cast for The King of Kings. And when I was talking with Jamie about how I can portray this story, he was able to interpret that and give his input and tell that exact feeling that I had towards this film to the actors, and the actors were able to thankfully and gratefully do that in the film.
Yeah, people are going to really recognize these voices, especially Kenneth Branagh and Uma Thurman and Forrest Whitaker. They're all really terrific. What's it been like working with Angel's team? You know, I've had the great fortune of working with them and talking with them and hearing of all the projects they have being released. There seems to be a thirst right now for faith-based content. So what has it been like to work with Angel to promote stories that amplify light?
사실 엔젤에 대해서는 한 5, 6년
I first found out and heard about Angel Studios through a Christian convention in Nashville, Tennessee, and also through the success of the film Sound of Freedom that Angel Studios were able to give. I wanted to work with them, and it was fall of last year that I was in contact with Angel Studios, and from then they were able to help me produce and really support to make this film happen so quickly.
Yeah, they're an incredible group of people, obviously. Well, finally, Jay, what do you hope that audiences will take away from this particular film?
I thought a lot about what I wanted the theme of this film to be, and I looked back to the Bible, and from the first page of the Bible to the last page, I felt the theme of the Bible was the love that Jesus Christ had for us, and the love that God had for us to send his son to be crucified. And it was through love that I was able to produce this film.
Beautiful. Well, it's an absolutely gorgeous film, and I think that audiences, both young and old, are going to find something really, really heartfelt and meaningful in this film. So, Jay, June, Whoosh, thank you so much for being with me today. And The King of Kings, he is an absolutely magnificent film. So thank you, gentlemen, for creating it and being with me today.
Okay, thank you.
The King of Kings has already earned $19 million in North America just this far. Go to angel.com if you want to see the movie. Coming up, more of He is Risen, a message of hope right here on Real America's Voice.